Captain Robert Williams pushed the throttle forward. His P-51 Mustang climbed through 20,000 feet. The formation stretched ahead. 50 B-17 bombers, silver against blue sky. He checked his fuel gauge. 3 hours out, 3 hours back. Berlin was burning below. Then he saw it. A bomber falling behind. Number 3 engine trailing black smoke. The crew was losing altitude fast. Williams keyed his radio. Red 2, you see that fortress? Lieutenant Andrew Davis responded immediately. Copy, Red Leader. She's dropping like a stone. The bomber's tail number was visible now. 429er. Williams had escorted her twice before, 9 men inside. The contrails appeared above them, high, coming down fast. German fighters, at least 30. 6 hours earlier, the briefing room at Ramitelli Airfield had been cold. Major Benjamin Hayes stood at the front. Behind him, a map of Germany. Red lines marked the route. Ramitelli to Berlin, 600 miles each way. Hayes pointed at the target area. Oil refineries, southeast Berlin. Expect heavy flak, expect fighters. Williams sat in the front row. His leather jacket bore the patch of the 322nd Fighter Group, red tails painted on every plane. The room held 48 pilots, all black, all trained at Tuskegee. Hayes continued. This is mission 199. Our record stands 198 escort missions, 0 bombers lost to enemy fighters. The room stayed silent. Every pilot knew what that meant. Every bomber crew in the 15th Air Force requested red tails. No other squadron could match it. Hayes looked directly at Williams. Captain Williams, you have led today. Williams stood. Yes, sir. Hayes handed him the mission folder. Weather's clear. Intelligence says the Luftwaffe is throwing everything at Berlin. Could see 50, 60 fighters. Williams nodded. We'll bring them home. Hayes's voice dropped. All of them. The briefing ended at 0530 hours. Williams walked across the tarmac. The sun wasn't up yet. Ground crews worked under portable lights. His crew chief, Sergeant Ernest Coleman, stood beside Williams's Mustang. The red tail gleamed even in darkness. Coleman held out the clipboard. Pre-flight's done, sir. She's ready. Williams signed without looking. He'd flown this bird for 8 months. Knew every rivet, every sound the engine made. Coleman stepped closer, lowered his voice. Captain, you hear what happened yesterday? Williams pulled on his gloves. What happened? Coleman glanced around. 2 white pilots, 301st Group. They were at the officers' club. Started talking about how we're just for show. Said any losses we don't have are just luck. Williams kept his face neutral. They say that a lot. Coleman's jaw tightened. Said a lot worse, too. MPs had to break it up. Williams climbed onto the wing. Let them talk, Sergeant. We'll fly. Coleman handed him his helmet. You always say that, sir. Williams strapped in. Because it's always true. The formation took off at 6:20 hours. 48 P-51s. Engines roaring down the runway. Williams lifted off third. The Mustang climbed smoothly. His wingman Davis tucked in tight on his right. Lieutenant Thomas Reynolds flew left wing. Behind them, the rest of Red Squadron formed up. 12 aircraft, 4 flights of 3. Williams checked his instruments. Oil pressure good. Fuel full, oxygen flowing. The bomber stream appeared ahead. 50 B-17s climbing into formation. Each one carried 10 men, 500 lives. Williams keyed the radio. Red Squadron, check in. Each flight leader responded. Red 2, check. Red 3, check. Red 4, check. Williams switched frequencies. Found the bomber channel. Liberator lead. This is Red Leader. We have visual. A southern accent crackled back. Red Leader. Liberator lead. Good to see you, boys. Heard you were escorting today. Williams smiled slightly. They always said that. We'll be with you all the way. The bomber pilot's voice carried relief. That's what we like to hear. They crossed the Italian coast at 7:10 hours. The Adriatic Sea spread below, blue and calm. The formation climbed to 25,000 feet. Breath fogging in the cockpit despite the heater. Williams scanned the sky constantly. Above, behind, below. Nothing yet. The Germans waited. They always did. Saved their fuel. Waited until the bombers were deep, too far for short-range escorts. But the P-51s had range, could go all the way. That's why they won. Davis's voice came through. "Red leader, I've got a rough engine." Williams looked right. Davis's propeller looked smooth, no smoke. "How rough?" Davis checked his gauges. "She's running hot, oil temp climbing." Williams made the decision fast. "Can you hold formation?" Davis watched his temperature gauge. The needle stopped climbing. "It's steady now. I can stay." Williams nodded. "Stay tight. We turn back together." They kept climbing. The Alps appeared at 07:45 hours, snow-covered peaks jutting through clouds. Beautiful and deadly, the formation threaded between them. Some bombers bounced in turbulence. The fighters rode it out. Williams checked fuel. Still good. They'd burned less than planned. Headwinds were light. He switched to squadron frequency. "Red squadron, weapons check." Each pilot charged their guns. 6 50 caliber machine guns per aircraft. The sound of bolts slamming home echoed through the radio. Williams armed his own guns. The red indicator lights turned green. Ready. The bomber stream pushed north, over Austria, then into Germany. Flak started at the border, black puffs appearing in the sky. The gunners on the ground had their range. Explosions bloomed around the formation. One bomber took a hit. Pieces of aluminum flew off, but she stayed in formation, kept flying. The crew was good. At 08:20 hours, the first fighters appeared. High, 12 o'clock. Williams spotted them first. Bandits, high, 12 o'clock. The German fighters were diving. Me-109s. Fast, aggressive. They came in from the sun. Classic tactic. Williams pulled up hard. "Red squadron, engage!" His Mustang climbed. The 109s opened fire. Tracers streaked past. Williams got one in his sights, led the target, squeezed the trigger. His guns hammered. The 109 rolled right, took hits in the wing. Smoke poured out. It dove away. Williams didn't follow. Never chase a wounded enemy. Stay with the bombers. That was the rule. Davis called out. "3 more, coming from 9 o'clock. Williams turned. Saw them. They were going after the bombers. He pushed the throttle to maximum. The Merlin engine screamed. His Mustang closed the distance. The lead 109 lined up on a B-17. Williams fired from 400 yards, long shot. His tracers walked up. The 109 broke off, rolled inverted. Dove. The bomber crew never knew how close they'd come. The dogfight spread across 5 miles of sky. Mustangs weaving between bombers. German fighters trying to break through. Williams stayed central, coordinated his flights. "Red 3, you've got 2 on your 6, Lieutenant Marcus Johnson responded. "I see them." Johnson's plane pulled into a tight turn. The 109s followed. Too tight. They couldn't match the turn radius. Johnson came around behind them, fired. One 109 exploded. The other dove away, trailing fire. Williams counted heads, all his planes still flying. The Germans broke off at 08:35 hours, disappeared into clouds. Williams knew they'd regroup. Come back. They always did. He checked his fuel. Still had enough. The bomber stream flew on. The target was 30 minutes ahead. Berlin was waiting. The real fight hadn't started yet. That's when he saw the crippled bomber falling behind. Engine smoking, losing altitude, and above them, more contrails, more fighters coming down. Williams did the math in his head. If he pulled his squadron to help, the main formation would be exposed. If he stayed with the main group, 9 men would die. The perfect record would break. The radio crackled, Davis's voice. "Red leader, what's the call?" Williams stared at the falling bomber. The crew was waving through the windows. They could see the fighters coming. Williams's hand moved to the throttle. The fuel gauge showed 60%. Berlin was still 28 minutes out. That meant 28 minutes back to this position after the bombing run. Then 3 hours home. The math was tight. Very tight. If he broke formation now to help the crippled bomber, he'd burn fuel in combat maneuvering. The German fighters would force him to burn even more. He might not have enough to make it back to Italy. Davis called again. "Red leader, we need a decision." Williams watched the bomber drop another 1,000 feet. The crew had maybe 10 minutes before they hit minimum altitude. After that, they'd be too low. Easy prey. The German fighters were diving now, 30 of them, maybe more. Reynolds spoke up. "Boss, we can't take 30 fighters with 4 planes." Williams knew he was right. Basic tactics. Never engage when outnumbered more than 3 to 1. It was suicide. But the bomber, 9 men, the record, everything they'd built. Davis's voice cut through. "Red leader, we're red tails. We don't leave bombers." Williams looked at his fuel gauge one more time, then at the falling bomber. The crew was still waving, still hoping. He made his choice, pushed the throttle forward. "Red flight on me, we're going down." Williams dove hard. Davis and Reynolds followed tight. Lieutenant Samuel Brooks brought up the rear, 4 Mustangs against 30 German fighters. The crippled bomber was at 18,000 feet now, still dropping. The lead Me-109 was 5 seconds from firing range. Williams pushed his aircraft past red line. The engine temperature gauge climbed into the danger zone. He didn't care. The 109 pilot hadn't seen them yet, too focused on the bomber. Williams closed to 300 yards, lined up the shot, squeezed the trigger. His guns roared. Tracers walked into the 109's fuselage. Pieces flew off. The German fighter rolled hard left, missed the bomber by 50 feet. Williams pulled up. G-forces pressed him into his seat. His vision grayed at the edges. He fought it. Leveled out. The other 109s had seen them now. They were turning, coming at them from every direction. Davis called out positions. 2 at 3 o'clock high, Reynolds responded. 4 more at 9 o'clock level. Brooks's voice was steady. "I count 12 behind us." Williams did the math fast. They were surrounded. He keyed the radio. "Defensive circle, now." The 4 Mustangs pulled into a tight turning formation, each pilot watching the other's tails. The German fighters came in waves. Williams fired at the first one. Missed. The 109 flashed past. Reynolds got the second. His burst caught the cockpit. The German pilot slumped forward. The fighter went into a spin. Williams checked his ammo counter. 320 rounds left. He'd burned 180 in that first burst. Had to make every shot count now. A 109 locked onto Brooks. Williams rolled inverted, pulled through, came up behind the German, fired a 3-second burst. The 109's wing shredded. It tumbled out of control. Brooks's voice crackled through. "Thanks, boss." Williams pulled back into formation. "Stay tight." The crippled bomber crew had seen them now. The waist gunner was waving frantically, pointing up. Williams looked. 6 more 109s diving from 25,000 feet. They'd been circling, waiting for an opening. Williams made a decision. "Red 2, Red 3, stay with the bomber. Red 4 with me," Davis acknowledged. "Copy." Williams broke formation, climbed hard toward the diving 109s. Brooks followed. The German fighters opened fire early. Too early. Their bullets fell short. Williams waited, held his fire. 500 yards, 400 yards, 300 yards. Now. He squeezed the trigger. His guns hammered for 2 seconds. The lead 109 took hits across the nose. Engine smoke poured out. It pulled up, trying to gain altitude. Williams followed. Bad mistake by the German pilot. Never climb when you're damaged. Williams closed the distance, fired again. The 109's canopy shattered. It rolled over, fell away. Brooks called out, "Got one on my 6." Williams looked, saw it. A 109 glued to Brooks's tail, firing. Williams pulled hard right, tried to get an angle. The 109 pilot was good, stayed with Brooks, kept firing. Tracers walked up toward Brooks's tail. Williams pushed his throttle through the gate, emergency power. The engine screamed. His Mustang surged forward. He came in from the side. The 109 pilot saw him too late. Williams fired. A long burst, 5 seconds. His remaining ammo poured out. The 109 exploded. Pieces flew everywhere. Brooks pulled up hard, cleared the debris. His voice came through shaky. That was close. Williams checked his ammo counter. 87 rounds left. Not good. He looked down. The crippled bomber was still flying. Davis and Reynolds circled it, fighting off 3 109s. The bomber's gunners were firing too, tracers streaking out from every position. 1 109 got too close. The top turret gunner caught it clean. The fighter burst into flames, spiraled down. Williams called to Davis. Red 2, status. Davis responded between bursts of gunfire. We're holding, but more coming from the north. Williams looked north. His heart sank. Another group of fighters. These weren't 109s. They were FW-190s. Heavier, more guns, tougher to kill. He counted 12. They were in perfect formation. Professional pilots, probably from an elite squadron. Williams keyed the radio. All Red Flight aircraft, we've got company. Focke-Wulf's inbound. Reynolds spoke up. Boss, we're getting low on ammo. Williams checked his own counter again. 87 rounds, maybe 10 seconds of firing, Brooks reported. I've got maybe 30 rounds left. Williams did the calculation. 4 aircraft. Combined ammo may be enough for one more engagement. The bomber was at 15,000 feet now, still losing altitude but slower. The crew had feathered the damaged engine, reduced the drag. They had a chance, but only if the fighters stayed off them. The FW-190s were closing fast. 2 minutes out. Williams made another decision. Red 3, Red 4, get that bomber climbing. Red 2, with me. Davis pulled up beside him. What's the play? Williams looked at his fuel gauge. 42%. Then at the approaching Germans. We buy them time. The FW-190s spread out as they approached. Classic attack formation. 2 elements of 4. The remaining 4 hanging back high. Reserve force. These pilots knew what they were doing. Williams and Davis climbed to meet them. 2 against 12. The odds were impossible, but they didn't need to win, just needed to delay. Williams armed his guns. The red light glowed. 87 rounds. He had to make them count. The lead FW-190 opened fire at 600 yards, way too far. Wasting ammo. Williams didn't return fire, saved his rounds. The German pulled up. Trying to bait Williams into a vertical fight, Williams didn't follow, stayed level. The FW-190 came back around, this time closer. 400 yards. Williams waited. The German fired again. Williams broke hard right. G-forces crushed him. His vision tunneled. The FW-190 overshot. Williams pulled back left, got on his tail, fired a 2-second burst. Rounds walked across the German's wing. The FW-190 rolled away, trailing smoke. Not dead, but hurting. Davis tangled with 2 more. His guns hammering in short-controlled bursts. One FW-190 fell away, wing torn up. The other stayed on him. Williams tried to help. A FW-190 cut him off, came straight at him, head-on pass, both aircraft firing. Bullets streaked between them. Williams held steady, kept firing. So did the German. Closing speed 600 miles per hour, 3 seconds from collision, 2 seconds. Williams broke left. So did the German. They flashed past, missed by 20 feet. Williams pulled around hard. His airspeed dropped dangerously low. The Mustang shuddered, almost stalled. He pushed the nose down, recovered. His ammo counter read 0. He was out. Davis called. Red leader, I'm Winchester. Out of ammo too. Brooks and Reynolds were still with the bomber. Below them, fighting off the remaining 109s. Williams checked his fuel. 38%. Not enough to make it home. Not even close. He looked at the bomber. It was climbing now. Slowly. The crew had managed to gain 500 feet. The FW-190s were regrouping, getting ready for another pass. Williams keyed the radio, called the bomber directly. 429er, this is Red Leader. What's your status? The bomber pilot responded, his voice tight. Red Leader, we've got the engine under control, climbing at 200 feet per minute. Williams did the math. At that rate, they'd need 15 minutes to reach formation altitude. The FW-190s wouldn't give them 15 minutes, maybe not even 5. He made the hardest call of his life. 429er, you need to break away from the main formation. Head south, we'll escort you. The bomber pilot hesitated. Red Leader, if we break away, we're on our own. Williams watched the FW-190s forming up. You're on your own right now, head south. Find cloud cover, we'll stay with you. There was silence. Then the bomber pilot responded. Roger, Red Leader, turning south. The big B-17 banked slowly, turning away from Berlin, away from the mission, but toward survival. Williams called his other pilots. Red 3, Red 4, close up. We're staying with the bomber. Reynolds responded immediately. Copy, boss. Brooks followed. Roger that. The 4 Mustangs formed up around the bomber, one on each side, one above, one below. The crippled fortress crew looked out at them, waved. Williams waved back. The FW-190s followed, staying high, watching. They were waiting for the Mustangs to break off, to turn back for fuel. But Williams wasn't leaving. His fuel gauge showed 35%. He did the math again. At current consumption, he had maybe 90 minutes of flying time. Italy was 3 hours away. He wouldn't make it. None of them would. Davis must have been doing the same math. His voice came through quiet. "Boss, we're not going home, are we?" Williams looked at his fuel gauge again, then at the bomber. 9 men inside. 9 men who would die if he left. "We'll figure something out," Davis laughed, short and sharp. "Sure we will." The FW-190s dove, all 12 at once. Williams called it out. "Here they come." His guns were empty. His fuel was critical. But he wasn't leaving. He turned toward the diving Germans. The bomber crew watched, waiting, hoping. The red tails were staying. No bomber lost to enemy fighters. Not today. Not ever. Williams pushed his throttle forward. Empty guns or not, he'd make them think twice. He pointed his nose at the lead FU-190. The Germans saw him coming, saw the red tail, hesitated for just a second. That second mattered. Williams closed the distance. The German broke off early. Didn't want to tangle with a red tail, even an unarmed one. The reputation preceded them. Davis did the same on the other side. Charged at the Germans, empty guns bluffing them back. It worked. The FU-190s scattered, reformed higher. They were confused now. These Americans should be running, should be heading home, but they weren't. They stayed with the bomber, protected it. The German leader must have realized what was happening. The Mustangs were out of ammunition. He called his pilots back, organized another attack. This time they wouldn't break off early. Williams knew it. This was the end. He keyed the radio one last time. "Red Flight, it's been an honor," Davis responded. "Honor's all ours, boss." The FW-190s dove again. Then the radio crackled. A new voice, American, excited. "Red Leader, this is White Squadron. We've got you covered." Williams looked up. 6 P-51s dove from above. Fresh aircraft, full ammunition. The cavalry had arrived. The FW-190s saw them. Broke off immediately. Scattered. White Squadron leader spoke again. "Red Leader, we'll take it from here. You're low on fuel." Williams felt relief flood through him. "Copy, White Leader. She's all yours." He looked at the bomber. The crew was cheering, visible through the windows, pumping their fists. They'd made it. All 9 of them. The perfect record held. Williams turned south. His 3 remaining pilots followed. The fuel gauge read 28%. Barely enough to reach base. Maybe. They'd find out. Behind them, the crippled bomber flew on, escorted by White Squadron, safe. Williams allowed himself a small smile. Mission 199 complete. 0 bombers lost. The 4 Mustangs flew in silence for 10 minutes, each pilot watching his fuel gauge, calculating, hoping. Reynolds spoke first. "Boss, I'm showing 22%. Brooks followed. 18% here. Davis was worse. "I've got 15% and my engine's still running hot." Williams checked his own. 25%. They were all on fumes. The Italian coast was still 90 minutes away. The math didn't work. They'd run dry over the Adriatic. Cold water. No rescue ships in range. Williams keyed the radio. Called base. "Ramitelli Tower. This is Red Leader. We're coming in hot. Low fuel, 4 aircraft." The response came back immediately. "Red Leader, Ramitelli Tower. We've got emergency crews standing by. What's your position?" Williams checked his map. 50 miles north of the Yugoslav coast. Estimate 90 minutes to base. There was a pause. "Red Leader, Tower advises you won't make it on current fuel. Recommend emergency landing in Yugoslavia." Williams looked at his fuel gauge. The Tower was right, but Yugoslavia meant internment, meant sitting out the rest of the war. He made his decision. "Negative Tower, we're coming home." The Tower didn't argue, just responded. "Roger, Red Leader. Good luck." The 4 Mustangs crossed the Yugoslav coast at 12,000 feet. Williams checked his fuel gauge. 22%. The needle was dropping visibly now. Each minute burned another percent. Behind him, his pilots were dying slowly. Davis's engine temperature had climbed into the red zone. The gauge read 240 degrees. Anything over 250 meant engine seizure. Reynolds was leaning his mixture as far as he dared, trying to stretch every drop of fuel. Brooks had gone completely silent, just flew formation, saved his breath, saved his energy. The Adriatic stretched below them, blue and endless. If they went down out here, the water would kill them in minutes. February water. Ice cold. Williams keyed the radio. Red flight sound off, fuel status. Davis responded first. 12%, engine temp 242. Reynolds followed. 16%, running rough. Brooks came last, his voice tight. 10%, maybe less. Williams looked at his own gauge. 20%. He was lead. He should have the least fuel, had burned more in combat, but his engine was running clean. The others were struggling. Williams made a decision. Red 2, reduce power. Drop back. Conserve fuel. Davis responded immediately. Negative. I stay in formation. Williams kept his voice steady. That's an order, Lieutenant. There was silence. Then Davis throttled back. His Mustang fell behind. 50 yards, then 100. Williams watched him in the mirror. Davis's propeller was turning slower now, saving fuel, but losing airspeed, losing lift. He was gambling. Trying to glide more than fly, it might work or his engine might quit. Williams checked the map. 75 miles to the Italian coast, then another 20 to Ramitelli, 95 miles total. His fuel gauge showed 19%. The math was impossible. They wouldn't make it. Reynolds spoke up. Boss, I've got an idea. Williams listened. Go ahead. Reynolds explained fast. We climb, high as we can, then glide most of the way. Engines at idle. Williams considered it. Higher altitude meant thinner air, less drag. They could glide farther, but climbing would burn fuel fast. It was a gamble. He made the call. Red flight. Climb to 20,000 feet. Reduce power after that. The 4 Mustangs nosed up, climbers clawing for altitude. Williams watched his fuel gauge drop. 18%, 17%, 16%. They reached 20,000 feet. He pulled the throttle back, set the propeller to coarse pitch. The engine quieted. The Mustang settled into a shallow glide. Silent, except for wind noise. Davis pulled back into formation. His engine temp had dropped to 235, still hot but manageable. Reynolds and Brooks closed up tight. They glided like that for 10 minutes, losing altitude slowly, 500 feet per minute. The fuel gauges barely moved. Williams allowed himself hope maybe they'd make it. Then Brooks's engine coughed, once, twice. His propeller windmilled. The engine quit. Brooks's voice came through calm. I'm out. Engine's dead. Williams looked back. Brooks's Mustang was gliding, silent, a 40,000-pound glider. Williams calculated fast. Brooks had maybe 15 minutes of glide time. Then he'd hit the water. The Italian coast was still 50 miles away. Brooks wouldn't make it. Williams keyed the radio, called base. Ramitelli Tower, Red 4 is out of fuel, dead stick, 50 miles offshore. The tower responded immediately. Red leader, we're scrambling rescue boats. Williams did the math. The boats would take 2 hours to reach Brooks's position, 2 hours in freezing water. Brooks would be dead in 30 minutes. There was another option. Williams checked the map. A small island, Yugoslav-controlled, 20 miles south. Brooks could make it there, barely. Williams called it out. Red 4 island at your 10 o'clock, 20 miles. You can reach it. Brooks responded. Copy. Turning now. His Mustang banked gently, heading for the island. Williams watched him go. Brooks would land on enemy territory, would be interned, sit out the rest of the war, but he'd live. That mattered more. Brooks's voice came through one last time. Tell my mother I'm okay. Williams responded. I will. Good luck, Brooks. The Mustang disappeared toward the south. Gone. 3 aircraft left. Williams checked his fuel. 13%. The Italian coast appeared ahead. a thin brown line on the horizon. Davis spoke up. "I see it." Reynolds followed. "We're going to make it." Williams wasn't sure. They still had 40 miles to go. His fuel gauge was dropping faster now. The math was tight, very tight. The coast grew larger. Details emerged. Roads, buildings. Then Davis's engine coughed. His propeller stuttered, caught again, kept running. Davis's voice was steady. "Engine's cutting out. Fuel's almost gone." Williams looked at the coastline. 30 miles. 5 minutes flying time. Davis might make it, might not. Then Reynolds's engine quit. No warning. Just stopped. His propeller windmilled to a stop. Reynolds called it calmly. "I'm out, gliding." Williams checked the distance. 25 miles to coast. Reynolds had maybe 10 minutes of glide. It would be close. Very close. Williams made a decision. "Red 3, aim for the beach. Any beach. Put her down in the sand." Reynolds acknowledged. "Roger." His Mustang descended slowly. Silent, except for wind. Williams and Davis flew on. 2 aircraft, both nearly empty. The coastline was close now. Details visible. Palm trees, white sand. Then the runway, Ramitelli. 10 miles ahead. Williams could see the tower, the hangars, fire trucks lined up, emergency crews waiting. His fuel gauge read 8%. Davis's engine coughed again. Ran rough, coughed again. Davis spoke quietly. "I don't think I'm going to make it, boss." Williams looked at the runway. 8 miles, 3 minutes. Davis's engine was dying. Williams made the call. "Red 2, emergency landing, that field at 2 o'clock. There was a small airstrip, Italian, abandoned. 1/2 mile of grass. Davis could put down there. Walk away." Davis responded. "Negative, I'm making Ramitelli." Williams' voice hardened. "That's an order." Davis ignored him, kept flying. His engine coughed continuously now, running on fumes, running on will. The runway was 5 miles ahead. Williams could see people gathering, watching, waiting. His own engine ran smooth. 6% fuel. Enough. Barely enough. But Davis was dying. Davis's engine quit. The propeller stopped. Davis's Mustang became a glider. 2 miles from the runway, Williams called it. "Red 2, you're not going to make it. Put her down in that field." Davis didn't respond, just flew. His Mustang descended slowly, heading for the runway. The math was impossible. He was too low, too far out. He'd hit short. Williams watched helplessly. Davis's Mustang dropped below the tree line. Disappeared. Williams held his breath, waited for the explosion. The fireball. Nothing, just silence. Then Davis's voice, shaky but alive. "I'm down, in one piece. Landed in a vineyard." Williams let out his breath. "You okay?" Davis responded. "Busted up the landing gear, but I'm fine." Williams smiled. "Good flying." Davis laughed. "I'll walk from here, boss. You go ahead." Williams lined up with the runway. His fuel gauge read 4%. Maybe 2 minutes of fuel. The tower called him. "Red leader, you're cleared to land. Straight in." Emergency crews standing by. Williams dropped his landing gear. The wheels locked down. He lowered his flaps. The Mustang slowed. He aimed for the runway. The numbers grew larger. 500 feet. 400 feet. His engine coughed. Once. He was out. The propeller windmilled. The engine went silent. Williams glided the last 300 feet. The runway rushed up. He pulled back on the stick, flared. The wheels touched, smooth. The Mustang rolled, slowed, stopped. Williams sat there for a moment. Engine silent. Heart pounding. He'd made it. His crew chief, Coleman, ran up to the aircraft, climbed on the wing. "Captain, you okay?" Williams pulled off his helmet. "I'm fine, Coleman." Coleman looked at the fuel gauge. Empty. Completely empty. He shook his head. "Sir, you were flying on fumes and prayers." Williams climbed out. His legs shook, adrenaline draining away. The prayers worked. Coleman helped him down. "What about the others?" Williams looked south. "Brooks is on an island. Reynolds landed on a beach. Davis put down in a vineyard. All alive." Coleman's eyes widened. All of them? Williams nodded. All of them. Major Hayes was waiting by the debriefing building, his face serious. Williams walked over, saluted. Hayes returned it. Report, Captain. Williams kept it simple. Mission complete, sir. Bomber 429er saved. All crew alive. All Red Flight pilots alive. 3 aircraft down. 1 at base. Hayes studied him. You broke formation. Williams met his eyes. Yes, sir. Hayes waited. Williams continued. The bomber was dying. 30 German fighters. We engaged. Saved the bomber. Ran out of fuel getting back. Hayes was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke. The bomber crew radioed ahead. Said 4 Red Tails stayed with them. Out of ammunition. Nearly out of fuel. Wouldn't leave. Williams didn't respond. Hayes continued. They said they've never seen anything like it. Said Red Tails are different. Williams felt pride swell in his chest. Hayes stepped closer. You risked 4 aircraft, 4 pilots for 1 bomber. Williams straightened. 9 men, sir. Not 1 bomber. 9 men. Hayes nodded slowly. And the record? Williams allowed himself a small smile. 0 bombers lost, sir. Record stands. Hayes shook his hand. Good work, Captain. Get some rest. Williams saluted, turned to leave. Hayes called after him. Williams. Williams stopped. Hayes spoke quietly. What you did today. That's why they request us. That's why we're the best. Williams nodded, walked toward the barracks. His body ached. His hands shook. But the bomber was safe. His pilots were alive. The record held. Mission 199 complete. He thought about tomorrow. Mission 200. More bombers, more fighters, more impossible decisions. But for now, he was alive. His men were alive. That was enough. Coleman caught up with him. Captain, the intelligence officer needs your debrief. Williams kept walking. Tell him I'll do it tomorrow, Coleman. Coleman fell in step beside him. Sir, there's something else. Williams stopped. What? Coleman handed him a telegram. This came while you were flying. Williams opened it, read it. His expression didn't change. Coleman watched him carefully. Bad news, sir. Williams folded the telegram, put it in his pocket. My brother, killed in action, France, 3 days ago. Coleman's face fell. Sir, I'm sorry. Williams looked at the sky. Clear, blue, perfect flying weather. He was infantry, 92nd Division, walked into an ambush. Coleman didn't know what to say. Williams continued walking. He wrote me last month, said he was proud of what we're doing, said the Red Tails are showing everyone what we can do. Williams stopped at the barracks door. Guess he was right. Coleman spoke quietly. You want me to tell Major Hayes? Get you stood down for a few days? Williams shook his head. No. I fly tomorrow, mission 200. Coleman nodded, understanding. Yes, sir. Williams went inside, closed the door, sat on his bunk, pulled out the telegram, read it again, his brother's name, his rank, killed in action. He folded it carefully, put it in his locker. Tomorrow he'd fly again, for his brother, for all of them. The war wasn't over. The work wasn't done. He lay back, closed his eyes, tried to sleep, but all he could see was the fuel gauge, empty, and the bomber, flying, safe. 9 men going home. That was worth it. Whatever it cost. That was worth it. Williams woke at 0430 hours. The barracks were dark, quiet. He dressed in silence. His hands moved automatically. Boots, flight suit, jacket. The telegram sat in his locker. He didn't look at it. Didn't need to. The words were burned into his memory. His brother's name, killed in action. He closed the locker, walked out into the cold morning air. The flight line was already busy. Ground crews working under portable lights, engines being tested, fuel trucks moving between aircraft. Coleman saw him coming, walked over. Captain, your bird's ready. Williams nodded, signed the logbook. Coleman hesitated. Sir, about your brother. Williams cut him off. We don't talk about it, Coleman, we fly. Coleman stepped back. Yes, sir. Williams climbed into his Mustang. The cockpit smelled of oil and leather, familiar, safe. He ran through the pre-flight checklist. Fuel full. Oil pressure good. Guns loaded. 600 rounds per gun, he was ready. The briefing room was crowded. Every pilot from the 392nd was there. Hayes stood at the front. Behind him, the mission board. Target, Munich. Heavy industry, ball-bearing factories. The route stretched across the map. Red line from Italy to Germany, 600 miles each way. Hayes spoke clearly. Mission 200, 60 B-17s. Heavy fighter activity expected. Intelligence reports 200 German fighters in the area. The room stayed silent. Hayes continued. Captain Williams has led. Red Squadron takes primary escort. Williams stood. Hayes handed him the folder. Weather's clear. Flak will be heavy over the target. Williams took the folder. We'll bring them home, sir. Hayes looked at him carefully. You sure you're fit to fly, Captain? Williams met his eyes. I'm sure, sir. Hayes nodded once. Then brief your men. Williams turned to face the room. 48 pilots looked back at him. He spoke simply. We've flown 199 missions, lost 0 bombers to fighters. Today is mission 200. We keep the record. Questions? No one spoke. Williams nodded. Wheels up in 30 minutes. The formation took off at 05:45 hours. 48 Mustangs. Williams led them up. The bomber stream was already climbing. 60 B-17s, 600 men. Williams keyed the radio. Liberator lead. Red leader. We have visual. The bomber commander responded. Red leader, good to see you. Heard about yesterday. Williams smiled slightly. Just another day. The bomber commander laughed. For you, maybe. My crew's requesting you specifically for every mission. Williams checked his formation. All aircraft in position. We'll be with you all the way. They climbed through 15,000 feet. The sun was rising behind them, painting the clouds gold. Beautiful morning for dying. Williams pushed the thought away, focused on the mission. The Alps appeared at 06:30 hours, snow-covered peaks cutting through clouds, the formation threaded between them. No turbulence today. Smooth flying. Germany appeared ahead, dark, waiting. The flak started at the border, black puffs blooming in the sky. The bombers flew through it, steady, disciplined. One took a hit, kept flying. The crew was good. Davis's voice came through the radio. He'd made it back from the vineyard, flew a spare aircraft today. Red leader, bandits, high 12 o'clock. Williams spotted them. German fighters diving from 30,000 feet. He counted fast. 30, maybe 40. They were coming hard. Williams keyed the radio. Red Squadron, engage. The Mustangs climbed to meet them. Williams picked his target. Lead me 109. He closed the distance. The German opened fire early. Missed. Williams waited. 400 yards, 300 yards. Now! He squeezed the trigger. His guns hammered. The 109 took hits across the engine. Smoke poured out. It rolled away. Williams didn't follow. Stayed with the bombers. More fighters appeared. From the north, another group. Williams counted. 50 more. The Germans were throwing everything at them today. He called it out. Red Squadron, more bandits. North, 50 plus. His pilots responded. Calm, professional. They'd done this before. Reynolds called targets. 4 at 10 o'clock. Davis engaged them. I've got the lead too. Williams watched the bombers. They were steady, holding formation. The gunners were firing, tracers streaking out. 109 got too close, exploded. The bomber's tail gunner had caught it clean. The dogfight spread across 10 miles of sky. Mustangs weaving through bombers. German fighters trying to break through. Williams stayed central, coordinated the defense. A Fu-190 made a run at a bomber. Williams cut him off, fired a long burst. The German pulled up, took hits in the wing, dove away. Davis called out, got 2 on my 6. Williams looked, saw them both firing. Davis was in trouble. Williams pulled hard. G-forces crushed him. His vision grayed. He fought it, came around behind the Germans, fired. One exploded immediately. The other broke off. Davis pulled clear. Thanks, boss. Williams checked his ammo. 400 rounds left. Still good. More fighters appeared. These were different. Jet aircraft. Me-262s, fast, deadly. Williams had heard about them, never seen them in combat, until now. They came in at incredible speed, 500 miles per hour, maybe more. Williams tried to track them, couldn't. They were too fast. One made a pass at a bomber, fired its cannons, missed, flashed past, gone before the gunners could react. Williams keyed the radio. "All red aircraft, we've got jets. Don't try to dogfight them. Hit them on approach or not at all." A jet lined up on another bomber. Williams saw it coming, timed his shot, waited until the jet committed, then fired ahead of it, led the target by half a mile. The jet flew into his stream of bullets, took hits across the nose. The canopy shattered, the jet rolled inverted, dove away, trailing smoke. Williams watched it fall. First jet kill of his career, maybe the first for any Tuskegee pilot. Davis called out, "Boss, that was incredible." Williams pulled back into formation. Just timing. More jets appeared, 6 of them. They worked in pairs, fast slashing attacks. The bombers couldn't track them. Too fast. But Williams could time them, predict their approach. He called positions to his squadron. "Jet at 2 o'clock coming in fast." Reynolds turned, waited, fired as the jet committed, hit it in the engine. The jet exploded, fireball lighting up the sky. The other jets broke off, regrouped high. They were learning, getting cautious. Good. That gave the bombers time. The target area was 5 minutes ahead. Munich. The city stretched below, dark with smoke. The bombers opened their bomb bay doors, began their run. The jets came back, all 6 at once, coordinated attack. They knew the bombers were vulnerable during the bomb run, couldn't maneuver, easy targets. Williams called his squadron. "Red flight, on the jets. Everyone else, stay with the bombers." He pulled up hard. Davis and Reynolds followed. 3 Mustangs against 6 jets. The math was impossible, but they had to try. The lead jet dove on a bomber. Williams intercepted, fired from 600 yards, too far, missed. The jet flashed past, fired its cannons, hit the bomber's wing, pieces flew off. The bomber shuddered, kept flying, the crew was fighting. Williams came around, found another jet. This one was slower, setting up for another pass. Williams closed the distance, got on its tail, fired. His bullets walked up the fuselage. The jet's engine exploded. It tumbled out of control. 2 jets down, 4 to go. Davis got a third, caught it during its attack run. The jet disintegrated. Reynolds damaged a 4th. It broke off, smoking heavily. 2 jets left. They were smarter now. Staying high, not committing, just threatening, keeping the Mustangs busy. The bombers released, 60 aircraft, bombs falling like rain. The city below erupted, explosions rippling across the factories, secondary blasts, fires spreading. The mission was complete. The bombers turned for home. The jets made one last attempt. Both dove together. Williams had to choose. He couldn't stop both. He picked the closest one, fired, hit it in the wing. It rolled away. The other jet got through, lined up on a bomber, fired. Its cannons ripped into the B-17's fuselage. The bomber's number 3 engine exploded. Fire spread along the wing. The pilot fought for control. Williams watched helplessly. The bomber was dying. The crew was bailing out. Parachutes blossomed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 9th man didn't make it. The bomber exploded before he could jump. Williams counted the parachutes. 8 men floating down, 1 dead. The jet that killed them was already gone, disappeared into the clouds. Williams keyed the radio, called the bomber commander. "Liberator lead, we lost one." The response was quiet. "Copy, red leader. Which one?" Williams checked his notes. 572. There was a long pause. "Roger. Understood. The perfect record was broken. 199 missions, 0 losses. Mission 200. 1 bomber down." Williams felt the weight of it, but he'd done everything right. His pilots had fought perfectly. The jets were just too fast, too deadly. Sometimes you can't win. Sometimes the enemy is better. He called his squadron. "Red Squadron, reform. We're going home." The Mustangs pulled back into formation. 48 aircraft, all still flying. No losses. But the bombers, 59 made it. One didn't. Williams did the math. 600 men flew out. 591 were going home. 9 weren't. 8 were captured. 1 was dead. The flight back was quiet. No one spoke on the radio. The pilots knew. The record was broken. 2 hours later, they crossed the Italian coast. Ramitelli appeared ahead. Williams lined up with the runway. Lowered his gear. Touchdown, smooth landing. He taxied to his parking spot. Shut down the engine. Sat there in silence. Coleman climbed up on the wing. "Sir, you okay?" Williams pulled off his helmet. "We lost one Coleman." Coleman's face fell. "I heard. The jets?" Williams nodded. "The jets." Hayes was waiting at debriefing. His expression was serious. Williams walked over, saluted. Hayes returned it. "Report." Williams kept it simple. "Mission complete, sir. Target destroyed. 59 bombers returned. 1 lost to jet aircraft." Hayes nodded slowly. "The crew?" Williams looked at the ground. 8 captured, 1 killed. Hayes was quiet for a moment. "You did everything you could, Captain." Williams met his eyes. "It wasn't enough." Hayes stepped closer. "1 loss in 200 missions. Do you understand what that means?" Williams didn't answer. Hayes continued. "Every other squadron in the 15th Air Force loses 2, 3 bombers per mission. Some lose more. We lost 1 in 200. Williams straightened. "It still broke the record, sir." Hayes shook his head. "No, Captain. You didn't break anything. You built something." Williams didn't understand. Hayes explained. 199 missions with 0 losses. Then 1 mission with 1 loss. That's still the best record in the entire Air Force, by far. Williams felt something shift inside him. Hayes was right. They'd lost 1 bomber, but they'd saved hundreds. Thousands of men were alive because of the red tails. Hayes handed him a telegram. "This came an hour ago, from 8th Air Force Command." Williams read it. His eyes widened. Hayes smiled. "They're requesting the 332nd transfer to England. Want us escorting bombers over Germany from there." Williams looked up. "They're requesting us?" Hayes nodded. "Specifically, by name. Said they want the unit with the best escort record." Williams felt pride swell in his chest. Hayes continued. "You know what that means? We're not just another squadron anymore. We're the squadron, the one everyone wants." Williams handed the telegram back. "What did you tell them?" Hayes smiled wider. "I told them we'd think about it. Let them sweat a little." Williams laughed. "First time all day." Hayes put a hand on his shoulder. "Go get some rest, Captain. You've earned it." Williams saluted, turned to leave. Hayes called after him. "Williams." Williams stopped. Hayes spoke quietly. "Your brother would be proud." Williams's throat tightened. He nodded, couldn't speak, walked away. That night, Williams sat in the barracks, writing a letter to his mother, telling her about his brother, about the mission, about everything. The words came slowly. He wrote about the record, about the 1 bomber they lost, about the telegram from 8th Air Force Command. He wrote about what it meant, that they'd proved something, that black pilots could fight, could win, could be the best. He wrote about tomorrow, about the next mission, about continuing the work. He signed the letter, sealed it. Tomorrow he'd mail it. Tomorrow he'd fly again. More missions, more bombers, more fights. But tonight, he just sat there, thinking about his brother, about the crew of 572, about the 8 men who survived, the 1 who didn't. War took everyone eventually. The only choice was what you did before it took you. Williams chose to fly, chose to fight, chose to bring them home, as many as he could, for as long as he could. The Tuskegee Airmen flew 15 more missions before Germany surrendered. They transferred to England, escorted bombers over Berlin, Hamburg, Dresden. They never lost more than 1 bomber per mission. By war's end, they'd flown more than 2,500 sorties, escorted bomber missions across Europe, lost fewer bombers than any other escort squadron. Their record stood, the best in the Air Force. After the war, Williams stayed in the military, flew in Korea, retired as a colonel. He kept flying until he was 70, taught young pilots, black and white, told them about the red tails, about the record, about what it meant. He died in 1998. At his funeral, the Air Force sent an honor guard. Fighter jets flew overhead. Missing man formation. One plane pulled up, climbed into the sky, gone. The Tuskegee Airmen had proved something no one could deny. That courage has no color. That excellence speaks for itself. That when given the chance, they were the best. Their legacy lives on. Every black pilot who flies today stands on their shoulders. Every bomber crew that came home stood on their wings. The red tails showed the world what was possible and changed it forever. If you want to hear more stories of courage and sacrifice from World War II, consider subscribing. These heroes deserve to be remembered. Their legacy should never be forgotten.